incident. At nakita natin sa mga TikTok yung nangyari, no? Parang gustong-gusto nilang pinapanood ang isa't isa habang nag-aaway, no? Pero syempre, it's a part of a bigger dynamic. Yung dynamic between Hanilet and
Yun yung backstory talaga.
The other family, no? Yung sila Sara, sila Baste, sila Pulong, at yung mga supporters nila. Mukhang lumalabas na si Harry, si Maharlika ay mas nakadikit kay Hanilet. Yung mga hindi pinapapasok na ngayon doon sa ICC para bumisita kay Digong, at yung first family, sila Sara, sila Duterte, nakausap yung abogado ni Digong, si Kaufman. So, lumalabas na yung dynamics na yan ay nag-i-spill over na dito sa mga followers nila. Especially yung mga characters like Harry Roque, no? Si Kifi, yung isang vlogger din na nakadikit naman kay Sara. Sila Trixie Angeles na mukhang nakadikit kay Sara.
Correct.
And all the other creatures in this telenovela.
Right. Before, Sir Ronald, we go into morphology, biology, and physiology. Itong evolutionary theory natin ng 5 stages of DDS evolution. Sir Ronald, bakit parang walang may gusto kay Harry? Parang like no one likes Harry. Even Tatay Digong, sabi niya kay Kaufman, pauwi niya na yan. Knowing na wanted siya sa Pilipinas. Hindi ba parang mean masyado si Tatay Digong kay Harry? Hindi ba na-appreciate yung loyalty and dedication ni Harry to defending the cause?
Di ba for a while nga, ay nakita mo naman, no, siya ay spokesperson, ay kinatay na siya ni Digong na ang gulo-gulo niya. So, ang gulo-gulo niya. Kaya alam ko, hindi siya naisama sa slate at that time.
Right.
Noong 2019. Dahil hindi magulo daw si Harry Roque. So, even during the presidency of Digong, ay madalas na niyang tapakan sa mukha yan. Pero mukhang unruffled naman si Harry.
Parang naalala ko, Sir Ron, alam mo yung mukha ni Chavit Singson, nung nagsasayaw si Harry. Yung nagsasayaw, tapos pawis yung gano'n niya, yung mga paligid niya. Tapos yung tingin ni Singson, parang gagawin na to lahat para lang manalo. Yung tingin na yan, feeling ko yung tingin ni Digong sa kanya, yung same gaze, the Singson gaze, feeling ko yun din ang Digong gaze sa kanya, no?
At saka siguro na alala rin ni Digong, noong 2016, binanatan niya si Digong.
Right.
As a killer na dapat hindi iboto, no, na kung siya ay abogado ni Digong sa ICC, papalabas ng ICC yun. No, yung video na yun. No? So, tingin ko ay hindi ganun kahirap na kasuklaman si Harry Roque kahit ng kanyang mga kasama.
Speaking of which, I mean, if you're Harry Roque, what is your ball game? Because this eventually goes to the fault lines we talked about. Because if you're Harry Roque, on the surface, you would say, all he needs to do is to wait for Sara Duterte to become the next president and happy na siya ulit. Balik siya sa Pilipinas, mawala lahat ng kaso niya, who knows, baka something even more, di ba? But some would say, hindi siya malapit kay Sara, mas malapit siya sa kabilang, dimension ng DDS universe. So, baka naman, not necessarily a Sara presidency will be best actually for him, or he might be just as marginalized and all. So, I don't know, like, if you're Harry Roque, what is your game plan? You're just gonna be a troll for the next 2-3 years? Bastusin mo si BBM, mag-troll ka ng mga, well, takot siya sa atin, Sir Ronald. But, I mean, like, what is he gonna do? Is makikihumba lang siya for, what will be the game plan? Kasi, Sir Ronald, the reason I'm asking you is because ikaw, may game plan ka nung panahon ng Digong, eh. Bigla ka nang disappear. And then biglang nag-reappear ka, biglang you're everywhere. Like, you're in every channel except mine. And then biglang lumapit ka rin sa akin, baka naman Richard, you want to also have me on your channel. So ang inisip ko, what if Harry will pull off a Ronald Liamas in 2029? Na biglang si Harry ang guest ng lahat ng podcast.
Nung hindi kasi ako lumalabas noon, ay meron ako ibang ginagawa.
Oh.
Meron ako ibang ginagawa
Na seryoso, na matino.
Content creator.
Yeah,
Content
exactly.
creator, no? At nung namatay yung aking boss, naging Ronald ako, masterless samurai.
Right.
Kaya naging hobby ko na lang yung mga ganitong klaseng podcast, no? Hobby lang to, hindi naman to career katulad mo eh.
Naging wild ka sa Ronald. But I don't think Harry needs that to be wild. I think Harry will be wild regardless of Ronin or not Ronin status.
Hindi ko naman alam na being an asshole pala ay works in this milieu.
Yun.
Kaya, isagad ko na being an asshole. So,
Sir Ronald, wala tayong pang-edit ng mga baka shoutout naman sa mga MTRCB friends natin dyan.
Wala nang value added si Harry kahit kanino eh.
Yun nga yung isip ko eh. Like, anong gusto niya mangyari sa buhay niya?
Sumita naman ako kung if he can reinvent himself.
Yeah.
No, towards something else. Kaya tingin ko ang habol na lang niya ay mag-migrate na lang.
Yeah.
No? Hindi siya makasuhan dito at i-enjoy na yung kanyang kayamanan na kinita na mukhang
substantial.
Dumami ng husto. Halimbawa, yung kanyang negosyo, anong pa yun? Pangalan ng kanyang negosyo na 125,000.
Yung Lucky 8 star? Yung Lucky 88 ba yan? Ano?
Yung Biancham.
Ay, exactly. Oh, yeah, taray.
25 million, no? Nag-increase by 1,000 times, no? At nakita mo naman, from being just a struggling lawyer, ay noong 2022, nagbigay siya ng 37 million as a campaign contribution kay Sara Duterte. So, ibig sabihin talagang...
Wait lang, if you gave 30 million, what does that mean? Because usually you shouldn't give more than 0.001% of your wealth for things like that, right? Usually that's like, there's a formula eh. You don't give more than 1%.
Ang isang dahilan kung bakit siya lumabas ng bansa ay hawak ng gobyerno yung kanyang mga bank accounts, including dollar accounts. So alam nila yung lalabas siguro yan kung sakaling mahuli siya. Kaya he can enjoy whatever wealth
Lucky
yung
South,
ilabas
yes,
niya. Diyan sa Europe, hindi na rin naman siya ganun kabata. So, masang kawawa yung kanyang pamilya. What will happen to them? Dahil mukhang yung kanyang asawa ay lumabas din ng bansa dahil hinahunting din.
Yeah.
Hinahunting din ng law.
But is it also possible, Sir Ronald, that he got mixed up with the wrong people? I'm talking about Pogo people. Hindi ba nakakatakot din yan? You know, when you get into bed with those kind of people, hindi ba like, I'm not talking about the government and like official channels. Hindi kaya he also got into the wrong crowd and now he's having a hard time kasi para mafia yan, di ba? Once you get in, there's no way out.
Mukhang wala naman siyang balak na umalis doon sa circle na yon. Baka nga, yun na lang ang kanyang remaining link sa mga Duterte. Kung sakali makabalik yung mga Duterte, baka bumalik siya sa mga Duterte through the Pogo route, no? Baka doon na siya bumalik. Kaya I doubt kung hihiwalay siya dyan sa pinakinabangan niya na circles na yan. No? Kaya...
Okay, before we get depressed more about Harry Roque, because we really care about him genuinely. I mean, if I were to be a novelist, yung third trilogy ni Rizal ko, kompletohin ko. Siya yung isa sa aking central characters. Sino bang, sir, kung ikaw, if Harry were a character in Noli Me, sino siya? Doña Victorine. Sino ba siya doon?
Baka yung Carabao.
Sir, okay, ito na. Wag na. I'll take, Sir Ronald. Akala ko ba naman, sir, papatulan mo in an artistic literary way, yung pala Animal Farm ang naisip mo. Okay, kung si Animal Farm, ano siya? Kung sa Animal Farm. Okay, and then baka yung human rights na ma-violate, Sir Ronald. Going back to this, pasensya na, Sir Harry, hindi ko kontrolado talaga si Ronald ngayon. Sir Ronald, okay, Bongo. If Bongo becomes the next president, because let's be honest, Sir Ronald, I'm hearing news that there are people who are obviously saying, okay, Sara seems like a front runner, but if ever she doesn't run for whatever reason, whether it's impeachment, whether it's ombudsman, whether it's she just backing out, clearly Bongo is next in line, right? And he's in a very good position to consolidate that. And the thing with Bongo is that he showed he can fight from the center, build a coalition. So what about that? Would the Bongo presidency, like what do you even think about that? The possibility of Bongo becoming, hindi lang siya dark horse, but could be a top contender if ever Sara doesn't sustain her momentum. Like what about that angle of this issue?
Well, that's a distinct possibility. Ang laki
Yeah.
ng kanyang pagiging number one. So, hindi lang siya number one. Medyo malaki yung kanyang pagiging
Yeah.
number one. Around 28 million.
Yeah.
So,
So
malaki yan.
7 million more
Although,
than number 2. Yeah.
alam naman natin na yung mga nagna-number one sa Senate doesn't necessarily become vice presidential timber or presidential, even a presidential timber. Kaya hindi pa nangyari yon. Kaya hindi yun formula for something.
But you're
like
talking about someone who was the right-hand man of the former president, right? You're talking about someone like he's not just your Mar Rojas or your usual number. He's not just a Grace Po or Cynthia Villar na number or Robin Hood Padilla, right? He has a whole machine behind him. He built all that machine. He's the only one I know na parang senador na nga pero assistant pa rin ng president. I mean like he had an incredible situation, right? In terms of the power and influence and network he built.
Well, yes. Pero kung maglalaban or magbe-break up sila ni Sara, ay may cost sa kanya yon. Dahil isang dahilan kung bakit nandyan siya ay dahil ang tingin ay nasa inner circle siya.
Yeah.
Na hindi naman nakikita ng mga tao yung ganitong klaseng division. Ang appreciation pa nila ay magkakasama silang lahat.
Right.
Kung makikita na siya ay nakahiwalay, most probably it will cost him. No? Kung makikita sila. Ngayon naman, yung karaniwang tao naman, hindi naman nakikita. Ito nakikita natin. No? Hindi nakikita itong ganitong klase mga dynamics between Hanilet and Sara, Maharlika and Harry with others. No? So, ang nakikita nila ay magkasama pa sila. Pero kung hihiwalay si Bongo, tingin ko, definitely meron yung impact downward para sa kanya. Maliban pa sa parang on his own, maliban dun sa spin around him, ay parang hindi naman siya ganun ka-compelling. No? Kaya we have to see how it works out. No?
Well, I mean the Malasakit Center thing, right? I mean that's a strong brand.
Wala na yung Malasakit Center. So, nagamit na yun last election. I doubt kung magagamit na yun sa 2028. Dahil masyado nang malayo. Kaya yun, yung whether they will fragment or stay united will really impact doon sa kanyang mga possibilities for 2028.
No, I doubt he will run if Sara is still in the race. But I think if there's any indication that Sara might not run or something, he might make a move. Yun ang sense ko, di ba? I mean, remember, wasn't that also what happened to Sara with BBM, right? Like, everyone saw Sara as a front runner and then nagkaroon ng dynamics with Bongo, Dugong, etc. And then basically the Marcoses came in and ate their lunch, right? And their lunchbox and the whole room, right? So,
ang maganda kasi sa sitwasyon ni Bongo, kahit tumakbo siya for a higher office sa 2028 at matalo siya, he will still
safe
remain
pa rin siya. Yeah, 3 years, yeah.
Unless may mga kasong isasampa sa kanya, at hindi ako magugulat kung meron ay ayun, magkakaproblema siya ng malaki.
Yun nga. So, but if Sara doesn't run,
yeah. Hindi na nila hawak. No? Tapos sisimulan uli yung Quadcom.
Right.
No? I doubt kung tatamaan siya sa ICC. Mukhang tatamaan mas si Bato.
Right.
At saka si Alte. So,
although, we had Attorney Christian Contian to show that...
lumalabas na against him. Halimbawa dito sa mga projects, sa mga flood control. Meron yata siya mga kamag-anak na nabigyan ng ganitong...
Allegedly, yeah.
So tingin ko, sisimulan niyang gamitin against him. No? Itong mga ngayon pa lang lumalabas na mga kamag-anak niya na involved sa government contracts.
But if you're BBM administration and you don't have a clear successor, wouldn't it be smarter for you just to keep things on an even keel with Bongo and focus on the Sara one? Because that's the most clear threat to the admin. And maybe for them, Bongo is the more reasonable person they can deal with based on past experiences, based on the read on him. Because one of the things that people are looking at is the possibility that some within the admin might be more comfortable with the Bongo than a Sara Duterte. Do you see that kind
Well,
of bifurcation vis-a-vis
definitely.
DDS
You
camp?
can
Yeah.
look at Bongo as a lesser evil than Sara,
Mm.
but a lesser evil is still evil, at pwedeng sumabog sa mukha nila yan. I doubt if they are willing to take that leap. Dahil whether si Bongo ay may distance kay Sara, loyal yan kay Digong. At ang nagpakulong kay Digong is the Marcos government. So they will never be sure what a Bongo partnership will entail. Pero ang malinaw at this point, no, hindi nila mapagkakatiwalaan si Bongo in relation sa China, in relation kay Digong sa ICC, no, even in relation with Sara. Dahil hindi pa naman nag-deteriorate beyond a point na hindi na magsasama yung dalawa. So if I were the government, that will be a last resort. No?
Yeah, I'm talking about desperate situation thing, right? Like, parang wala tayong panalo dito, yung mga dilawan ayaw sa atin, so dito na lang tayo. Parang you could look at that, where Bongo works it from the center, whereby he doesn't only have some DDS with him, if not the whole DDS if Sara doesn't go in, but he also has some people from the other side na who cannot work with the pinks or whoever will be on the
Ang maging desperate moves nila ay itong charter
hindi
change.
mag-work, magba-backfire yan. That's dangerous. Yeah.
Ni Deputy Speaker Ronnie Puno, no, yung Con, pino-float na niya ngayon.
That's dangerous. Okay, let's talk about that. I mean, doesn't that reek of desperation? I mean, it's not like first time yan. We saw the other year. Hindi naman
It's a bit late, no? Para sa
yeah, it's too late, and it could backfire. The way it looks like desperate na, okay, we cannot win, we cannot secure ourselves. We didn't get the impeachment through, so ganito na lang. But going back to this, Sir Ronald, on the whole admin situation. I mean, if you're BBM right now, what is your calculus? Because he's kind of doing the Dan Matuid, right? Like, what's going on here, right? I mean, of course, we want Dan Matuid na totoo, but it's like, medyo, hindi naman off-brand, but it will take a lot for BBM to operationalize this and make this look authentic, right?
I think he's trying to do the populist card.
Yeah.
No? Ang tanong, alam ba niya yung mga intricacies na kanyang pinasukan? Na itong populist card ay
tricky,
can explode in his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Lalo na kung tatamaan dito ay yung mga
allies
niya, which is holding things together. Halimbawa sa Congress. Huwag mong kalimutan, may threat sa kanya si Sara to impeach him.
Yeah.
At kung may impeach siya ni Sara before the elections, that will make Sara an almost sure winner sa 2028.
Yun nga. Right.
So, ang problema ko kasi, ang hirap kasi pasukan ng utak ni BBM eh. At this point, parang may element siya pa strategy. For the past 3 years, parang walang strategy. Ngayon, may counting element of a strategy on a populist card. Hindi ko sigurado kung yung strategy nila is well planned out. No? Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, Contingency 1, Contingency 2, Contingency 3. Because
or baka Deng Xiaoping, let's just cross the river and fill the stones. Baka ganun ang Sir Ronald ang vibes natin.
Po ay masyadong magaling si Deng Xiaoping.
Actually, medyo very statecraft level yung mga yun eh.
Itong mga guys na ito, nasa global level yung mga ito. At saka,
Waldorf.
So, I'm a universe away. No?
Well, not that I'm asking for a Deng Xiaoping kind of leader, although I respect his market opening.
Kailangan pa niya, Xiao and Lai.
Zhou Enlai, yeah. Medyo masyadong yun ang sobrang high level, sir. Medyo titans of the 20th century level yata, Sir Ronald. Baka pati ikaw, sir, hindi mo maabutan, Sir Ronald.
A pragmatic revolutionary. No?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, people always give credit to Mao Zedong, but people forget it was really Kissinger meeting Zhou Enlai that set the tone for the détente and the whole U.S.-China counter maneuvers against the Soviet Union and all of that. But yeah, definitely Zhou Enlai, and he was really a suave guy, no? Yung sa Bandung conference, like everyone kasi remembers Mao Zedong, and they forget there was a Zhou Enlai. That was really an elegant.
He was almost destroyed.
Yeah.
Ng Gang of Four, no? At least he survived.
Yeah.
At nung pumasok si Deng Xiaoping, siya yung naging most important element ng core group ni Deng Xiaoping. The ideologue, the foreign minister, no, the operator, no.
Tsaka United Front, he's the one who negotiated with Kuomintang versus the Japanese Imperial Forces. So, I mean, really, really next level guy. Sino kayang pwedeng gang of four ng DDS, Sir Ronald? If ever tuloy-tuloy yung civil war nila. Magkakaroon ba sila ng gang of four din, Sir Ronald? Mga DDS.
Baka gang lang.
Baka gangrene. Baka gangrene. But kidding aside, let's go to the issue of flood control again, sir, because this is very important. I'm really amazed at how many ka-DDS, yung isa nga DPW secretary pa ng panahon ni Digong, like they're so into this good governance, audit natin mga flood control. Well, last time I checked, we spent more than any other admin under Digong. Last time I checked, right? More than 12,000 projects reportedly were finished during Digong. According to Senator Lacson, I think close to 1 trillion pesos was spent over the past decade, bulk of it during the Digong administration. So, I mean, we have friends na in good governance mayor's group. We have friends like your favorite lawyer na wala siyang ipanalo. We have a couple of other interesting group of people, all of them converging on this issue of good governance, Dan Matuit. What is your read of the flood control issue? Kasi you were talking about this shouldn't explode in the face of BBM, but this is obviously being, I mean, even si what's Toby doing? Like, di ba alyansa ano yan? Manager, campaign man. Bakit biglang nag-ano siya ngayon? Ano ba nangyari sa Ronald? What's going on? I mean, isn't this a dangerous gamble for BBM unless he's really ready to go all in?
Well, una, because of the confluence of events. Yung onus ng flood control ay nasa gobyerno. Specifically, sa Congress, sa DPWH, at saka to some extent sa Senate.
Na-interview ko si Magalang, tingnan niyo rin interview ko doon.
Ng mga DDS.
Natanong ko na rin.
Dahil sa ngayon ay ang flood control as a catastrophe ay nasa kamay ng gobyerno,
right.
which is a Marcos government.
That's a good point, yeah.
Ikalawa ay they smell blood. Nakita nila yung dynamics within different factions of the government. Nag-aaway ang House at saka ang Senate, nag-aaway ang mga tao mismo ni BBM like Toby Chanco versus the Speaker versus Saldico. So, yun yung ikalawa na gusto nilang patuloy na gatungan yung divisions na yan, no? Yung mga divisions na yan. At ang tingin nila ay masyado ng malayo. 3 years is a long time for them para ungkatin yung kanilang mga sariling mga flood control projects na mas marami at I'm almost sure mas tainted by anomalies, no? Mas tainted by corruption, no? So para ungkatin 'yon ay kailangan gawin ng gobyerno yung kanilang homework, no? Dahil ang problema kasi sa gobyerno, hindi na weaponize yung mga weaknesses ng mga Duterte against the Duterte. Like itong corruption from Parmali, di ba, to medicines, yung West Philippine Sea na overwhelming yung support against China, hindi nila na-weaponize yan. So, ang tingin ng mga Duterte ay we have the upper hand dahil itong gobyerno ito don't know how to create a narrative against us. Kami yung nakakakuha ng momentum against them. Kaya talagang i-maximize ng mga Duterte itong conjuncture na ito na hindi na ma-maximize ng gobyerno.
So where does that leave us na neither DDS nor admin or neither team?
We're doing our stuff. Like in a way, we won in the midterm. Diba? In a way, we won in the midterm. Dalawa yung pinatakbo nating senador na wala sa Magic 12 pero nakapasok sa top 5. No? Yung party list natin, nanalo.
Number 1.
Historic win, the highest sa history ng party list. Mga local candidates natin, karamihan nanalo. So, in a way, within our limited sphere, ay na-weaponize natin yung ating pagiging anti-Duterte and critical of the government to our advantage. No? Although, going into 2028, ay kinakailangan mo mag-Lenin. Kinakailangan mo mag-direction of the main blow. Diba? So, you have to consolidate yung maayos yung dynamics within the pink and the yellows. At after yan, then around that, build a broad united front against the Duterte going into 2028. Sinasabi na yun ng mga DDS forces.
Yeah.
Walang kandidato ang mga Marcoses, kaya susuportahan nila ang mga pink. even the DDS ay kinakalat na. Dahil in their own strategy ay kailangan ng ilan ka dyan. No? So, yun yung ating ginagawa. No? Ang kailangan lang natin gawin ay mag-scale up in terms of unities, in terms of strategies, in terms of key result areas going into 2028. Dahil,
but aside from
natin-
scaling up, Sir Ronald, how do you insulate? Kasi my worry is, the DDS are hoping to split yung pink movement. Like, yung nagkaroon ng debate between pro-Lenny and pro-Risa, and then later on, si Sunny pa, meron pa siyang ibang angle. I could see the DDS were having fun. I mean, literally some of their propagandists were laughing emojis and all.
Yes, I won't intervene.
Yeah.
Dahil kung mag-i-intervene sila, baka lalong ma-unite.
Mag-consolidate.
No?
Yeah.
Kaya at this point, kung yung mga DDS ay more strategic in their analysis, di sila gagatong. Dahil pag gagatong sila, mahalata eh. At kung mahalata, lalong mag-unite yung mga pink against them.
So don't interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake, ala Napoleon. But having said that, remember when Sara Duterte was asked, totoo ba yung sinasabi ni Sunny na magkaibigan kayo ni Lenny? Ano sabi ni Sara? Parang tanungin niyo na lang kay Lenny? Something like that? Like, how do you see that angle?
Oo, tingin ko it's not about sophistication. It's more about ano ba talaga yung relasyon nila. It's not yet on the level of gatong.
Yeah.
No, wala pang gano'n. Again, yung mga nare-recognize ko ng mga advisors ni Sara are no longer yung mga dating mga Harry Roque, mga Panelo. These are more professional, itong mga nagpapatakbo ngayon. So, hindi yan mga house-show.
Yeah.
No? At ang problema, ang nakikita ko medyo house-show, ay yung Malacanang. Parang may vacuum ng mga strategies. Parang may vacuum ng political operator and negotiators. Yun yung problema. Tingin ko yung mga Duterte ay nag-i-scaling up in terms of strategies, operators, no? At if they can get their act together, ay mag-move sila in a positive way. No? Kaya this is now a war. Ang problema sa isang war, kailangan ay ma-weaponize mo ng gusto yung kampo. No?
Yeah.
At sa ngayon, medyo may problema yung gobyerno in terms of divisions inside, in terms of weapons they can use. No? Ang pinakamalaking problema nila is the narrative, the communications. That's why, ngayon lang ako nakakita ng gobyerno, nagpalit ng 5 beses ng communications head, no? in 3 years. No? In 3 years. So,
Well, I mean, better change than sticking to a bad one.
They can no longer afford that in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, they have to consolidate talaga.
Lookin mo, medyo tahimik si Gomez. Yung bagong communication set, wala ka pa masyadong naririnig sa kanya. Hopefully, ay meron siyang ginagawang plano, no? Pero for now, wala pa siyang marka.
But yun nga, like this whole flood control, good government, done matuwid ala BBM is quite interesting. It's like yung PowerPoint presentation niya last week, di ba? Ito yung flood control project, ito yung top 15 contractors, ito yung share ng project na kuha nila. Did you ever imagine, Sir Ronald, you'll see a Ferdinand Marcos making a presentation like that? I could imagine that Pinoy or Mauro has doing that, or Lenny, but Ferdinand Marcos making a PowerPoint presentation with the press conference, ganon? I mean, isn't that an opening?
Nakikita niya na nagkaroon ng controversy sa budget last December, na dahil dyan, gumuho yung kanyang approval ratings. Tapos, nangyari yung midterm election na which was supposed to be a plebiscite on his leadership at practically hindi siya pumasa. So, nakikita niya yan eh. So, he has to do something drastic. He has to do something dramatic. At itong populist card, possibly, yung nakikita niya na scaling up niya dito. Hindi ko sigurado kung natansya niya yung epekto niyan sa kanyang sariling base. No? Sa kanyang sariling base. Pero
does he have even a strong base anymore? Like, what is this? Solid North plus what? NCR? Because if we were to believe some of the surveys, Bong Go and Sara are already doing very well in NCR, aside from Mindanao.
Yes. No? Yes. Dahil nga, wala silang rival. Ibig sabihin, yung gobyerno ay on the defensive. So, itong nasa offensive na ito, lalo na ngayon, na nanalo sila sa impeachment, they will create that momentum. Diba? Sila ngayon ang bosses ng rule of law. Yung mga pro-impeachment ngayon, ang parang unconstitutional. Sila ngayon ang against rule of law. So, yun kaya may momentum na nakuha ang mga Duterte dito sa impeachment.
Yeah, especially with the also Supreme Court ruling there, giving
The momentum started with the midterm election. Nanalo yung kanilang mga kandidato at natalo yung mga kandidato ng alyansa.
And hindi nga tanggap nila Jimmy Bondoc na talo sila, di ba? Parang feel nila mas maraming pa dapat nanalo sa kanila. Parang ibang klase to mga to. Kasi dapat si Ben Tulfong umakyat.
Correct. So, while they're organizing their momentum, parang ang sagot ng gobyerno is this populist card related sa corruption, specifically on flood control. Na okay naman as a strategy. Ang problema, natatansya ba nila kung paano nila i-handle yung fallout?
Yeah.
May takumakan sa mga kasama nila no? Unless malinaw sa kanila na i-immunize nila yung leaders nila, meron silang gagawing sacrificial lambs. No? Tingin ko yun yung pwedeng compromise. Pakinabangan mo yung populist card, pero at the same time, protect your own people, or at least most of them. At to do that, kailangan mo meron kang isasakripisyo.
Is this also about BBM trying to show that he's not a lame duck?
Of course, no? Of course. Na parang he's still in control.
Yeah.
No? At don't count him out yet. Pero bahagi kasi niyan ay kaya nga balancing act Bahagi niyan ay mapigilan mo yung momentum ng mga Duterte. At dahil wala kang ginawa doon sa impeachment ni Sara, nakatulong ka doon sa kanyang momentum. No?
Yeah.
Inuulit ko, the presidency is a very strong institution. Kung alam mo paano gamitin yan, perhaps nanalo yung impeachment. No? Both in the Senate and in the Supreme Court.
Tumaas ang kilay ng tao dito, so inevitably I have to ask this question. What was that whole BBM throwing shades at Jesus Cordero trying to join the Supreme Court all about? Because from what we understand, it's not like BBM's stance was very clear also on this issue, right? What was all about? Like, I don't think, first of all, I don't think he articulated it optimally, to put it nicely. But like, why would you throw shades at Cheese like that in an event like that? Doesn't that even make the situation worse? I just don't get what was the logic of that. Parang trying to dress down Cheese there.
It was a job. It was a job couched as a joke. No?
Yeah.
Kaya because of that, people are confused like you on how to
Kasi parang sa akin, it was a joke, joke, parang draped in a job. Parang ganun lang, parang baliktad ang dating niya sa akin Kaya
iba, it was more of a job. Isipin ng iba, it was
more
more of a
joke,
joke.
yeah.
Or isipin ng iba, what was that
wala
about?
Okay, let's move on. Actually, I wanted to repost it and then sabi ko, yeah, but it doesn't, it's not like...
What was that about? It wasn't a joke and it wasn't a job. So what kind of creature was it? So,
Yun nga, like that was a category error. like how do I put it? Well, let's talk about Cheese because according to Harry Roque, Sir Ronald, I think medyo huli sa balita si Harry Roque sa mga ganitong balita. We heard this 2-3 months ago pa na it's Cheese positioning himself as a candidate of the admin that basically ang argument ni Cheese, but di ba, we were talking about this like March pa yata or something like that, na Cheese trying to convince the admin na hilaw tong impeachment na to, let's just forget about it. But why would Harry Roque say that now in August 2025? Like medyo huli siya sa analysis yata, medyo this is so 4 months ago.
Ganun talaga pag nalulunod ka sa Humba. Kailangan umangat
Post-Humba, ano ba to?
To catch some air, no? Yung hirap yan, pagkain ka ng Humba.
Yeah.
Medyo ka muna. Kumuha ka ng fresh air dun sa field of tulips. No? sa
With rainbow. And then naka-bike ka. Talaga to si...
Stuffed toy na unicorn.
Oo. Humba man.
Rainbow yung colors. No?
So, okay.
Wala ko naisip pa hiwati.
Clearly, he's not a good political analyst nor a vlogger. But, where does this leave Cheese now? Should Cheese be worried about his own situation?
Patuloy na bumababa. No? Yun sigurado ko. Patuloy siyang bumababa. At ang problema, dinadrag niya yung Senate with him. Imagine for the first time, mas mataas ang...
Mas mataas ang lower house kaysa upper house. That tells you a lot.
nangyayari yun, no? Pero siya mismo, personally, tingin ko tatamaan siya dito sa fourth wheel,
Sa flood
tatamaan
control.
impeachment, tatamaan siya sa insertions, tatamaan siya dito sa flood control, tatamaan siya dito sa maraming bagay na lalabas at lalabas pa. So,
Yun
at
nga
yung
eh.
kanyang handling, no, parang alam ko si Cheese may magandang pa niyan eh. Communications team. Pero even a communications
Yeah.
team niya ay hindi na-handle ng maayos.
Baka ma-joint session.
Kung lahat ng banat sa kanya. Kung
I mean,
lahat ng banat.
No, I mean, yeah.
Dati cool lang siya eh. Ngayon,
Napipikon na siya.
sa,
Napipikon na siya, yeah.
Sa cost control, etc. Ay para siyang barangay captain na asar.
Napipikon na siya, yeah.
Nawala yung kanyang gravitas eh. Nawala yung kanyang yung kanyang sophistication.
Yeah, yung kanyang
No?
serene
Iwan yung
self-confidence.
sophistication sa kanyang kilay.
Ang tawag ko nga dyan, kilay curve eh. Yung, imagine mo, kay Zubiri pala, ang taas pala ng approval. Biglang, pababang kilay eh. Oh, kilay curve.
Papanorin mo, halimbawa, kanina, yung interpellation ni Kwan.
Jinggoy?
Ni Tito Sen.
Ay, Tito Sen, oh.
Tito Soto. Magaling ah. Magaling si Tito Sen, ha?
Yun nga, like, that's my worry. When you think, when everyone is impressed with Tito Sen, like...
Ngayon, di ba? Yung gumagaling, nagugulat ako.
But Tito Sen is really going for it, no? Kasi if the intel to us is true, he came close to grabbing the position, di ba? Mukhang may kulang na naman nangyari, how-show na naman. But, you think Tito Sen really has a good chance? Kasi mukhang very unstable yung Senate leadership, eh. Lalo if Cheese is gonna face more and more pressure on multiple fronts, as it looks like.
Sa Senate, it can happen overnight. May makuha kang 13 senators, di tapos ka, Senate President. No? Kung halimbawa, maasar sa yung presidente, pwedeng makakuha yun. Paano? Kalamihan naman sa senators, administration eh. So makakuha lang siya ng 6-7 para samahan yung minority, then nabago na yung Senate President.
Yeah.
At kung ikaw yung presidente, you can easily get 6 or 7 senators. So it can change overnight.
Yeah, and we saw that with the Mig Zubir. I mean, as Mig Zubir said, diba? I've seen strange things in my life, and then suddenly si Bong Go na si Bato pala na I'll be there to the end of the world. Next thing you know, ay bumoto ako sa kabila, diba? Okay, let's talk about this because suddenly itong mga senators natin, marami sa kanila galit ngayon sa itong online gambling. Itong mga issues, Sir Ronald, again, mga huli sa balita yata sila, mga 4 months na natin pinag-usapan itong gambling crisis in the country. Bilang ngayon, diring-diri yung isang senador. Hindi ko sinabi na convicted to, pero yung isang senador na biglang diring-diri siya.
Crisis level talaga siya eh. May nakakausap akong isang vice governor, hindi ko na babagitin kung sino, pero sabi niya ay tumataas ang pandito, ang suicide because of e-gambling.
At kabataan.
Dahil very accessible eh, sa kabataan eh. Yung, siyempre, murang edad, tapos hindi pa yan sanay katulad mo, sa tragedies, no, sa blows of life. No? So,
Sir Ronald, akala ko this will be our first episode without you bullying me. And then, Bati nga si Ranjit, nahuli na mami ko. Sabi ko, bakit si Ranjit Raiden? Nakiki-Ronald siya. Sabi ko kay Ranjit, alam mo, nahuli ka ng mami ko, binubuli mo ako doon sa indirect contempt. Sabi niya, ganyan. Sabi niya, ay, napansin niya. Kung ano ba si Ranjit, hindi lang niya dininay, ay, napansin niya. Napapansin talaga. Sir Ronald. Ayan.
It's nice to have fun doon sa indirect contempt. Di ba?
Yun ang talagang gang of four ang kalaban.
It was the other shoe. I'm sure you will enjoy making fun of my indirect contempt. So,
Well, Sir Ronald, it's not like your hopeless case pa. I think baka mapansin ka rin eventually. Papunta naman tayo dyan, Sir Ronald. But, no, so yung online gambling, do you think we're going towards total ban na talaga? Kasi suddenly, pera-pera na usapan eh.
Hindi lang civil society, yung simbahan is really up in arms, no?
Yeah.
At nararamdaman niya ng mga politiko. Siyempre, yung mga politiko, pinapakiramdaman din nila yung climate eh. So nakikita nila, wala naman silang pakinabang sa online gambling.
Yeah.
Ang nakikinabang dyan is PAGCOR, no? At saka mga ilang negosyante. Ikalawa, ay tingin nila, pinapressure na sila ng kanilang mga constituency. Anong gagawin nyo dyan? Bakit tahimik kayo? So nakikita nila, nagiging perfect storm for them eh. makikinabang sila in relation sa tao, tapos wala namang maibabawa sa kanila dahil wala naman silang pakinabang dyan,
Yeah.
no? Or yung iba, baka gamitin yan para magkaroon ng pakinabang. No?
Wait lang.
No?
Parang iba na yan sa Ronald. Parang ibang
Pero,
jiu-jitsu, ha?
pero for now, it's the most unpopular game in town. No? Kaya,
Oo, like, good luck sa'yo kung abogado ka ng mga flood control contractors or spokesman ka. Naalam mo yung spokesman ni Binay, hinimatay? Naalam mo yung time na yun, may hinimatay na spokesman ni Binay, yung tinanong sa kanya yung inquirer na mga expose, hinimatay siya bigla. So, kiling ko kung mag-spokesman ka ngayon, good luck sa'yo sa contractors at saka gambling.
Wala kaming pandan eh. Wala kaming involvement nun eh. Kaya,
Yan ang gusto ko sa'yo, Sir Ronald. Na-obvious talaga kung may involvement ka. Hindi. May denial ka agad. Parang kang Kremlin. Whenever Kremlin said, wala kaming kinalaman sa nangyari sa Ukraine or Kazakhstan or whatever, like, oh, so there is an effort.
Ang si Joel Villanueva. Walang senador na may kinalaman dyan sa flood control. Di ba?
Yung
Just a
certainty
few hours,
yeah.
tapos ang president ni BBM. No? Tapos paliwanag siya. DPWH. No? No? Was there ever a time na humingi ako sa iyo ng pabor in relation sa flood control? Eh wala naman nagtatanong.
Yeah.
Wala, kanina, yun ang ginawa. Wala naman nagtatanong. So lalo ka naging defensive. No, bakit mo tinanong yun? So
Yun nga
lalo
eh.
naging suspicious ngayon ng mga tao.
Ma?
No?
Yung protein ko. Ito na, last part na natin, Sir Ronald. Habol ko na yung gym. So, where are we in terms of yung nurturing the pink movement, the progressive movement, the non-DDS, non-loyalist movement, or at least building a grand coalition? Nasa ere pa rin ba tayo? Or you think there's still good indications that things are moving in the right direction? Like, do you think Lenny should join that Mayors for Good Governance? Like, what is going on here?
Well, I think there are moves now to fix yung mga dynamics na nangyari because of the 2025 midterm elections. Tingin ko may mga moves na doon. Ikalawa ay tingin ko ay within the next few months, what will dominate will be the anti-Sara campaign after the failure of the impeachment. No, Quadcom, Ombudsman, street, sa kalsada yung impeachment, ICC. So, tingin ko with this different tracks, ay magkakaroon ng unity yung pink at saka yellow dahil a lot of this silang gagawa eh. Hindi kaya itong gawin ng isang grupo lang eh.
Yeah.
So, lahat sila gagawa. So, magkakaroon ng working relationship. They will be part of a strategy, no? As well as tingin ko merong gagawin ng mga gatherings para mabawasan yung dynamics. And then at a certain time, mag-uusap-usap yung mga principals. Kaya optimistic ako. Dahil 2028 is a survival battle. Not only for the Marcoses, but for the pink.
Yeah. I mean, to put it mildly, baka naman mag-second exile tayong lahat. No, but yeah, I mean,
that is not lost on them. No, that is not lost on them.
yeah. I mean, how do you see Kiko and Bam performing so far? I mean, I think they're doing okay. Kiko, I think, is doing very well. I mean, the way na binasag lang niya si Boy Sile doon sa issue ng criminal liability issue, etc. Like, the way he was explaining it, diba? Like, parang in a very elementary, parang sa barangay hall lang siya nag-explain. Kiko is stepping up. Are we overlooking Kiko? Do you think we're being unfair to Kiko? Now, we always talk about Lenny, Bam, Risa. What about Kiko? Are we overlooking him?
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure. Tingin ko naman he's still in play. No? Pero parang hindi naman niya pinofloat pa yung sarili niya as a contender for 2028. No? Lalo na meron siyang 6 years as senator. No, baka ayaw na niya mangyari yung ginawa yung nangyari last election na sinacrifice na yung kanyang pagiging senador for the vice presidency na medyo wala siya chance, no? So baka mas circumspect siya in terms of his role sa 2028, no? Pero who knows, no? you still have 3 years. So kung sino yung maka-create ng isang more compelling narrative, pwede siyang sumulpot. Pwede nga from out of nowhere, merong Black Swan na biglang sumulpot. Who knows, no? Yung paborito mo, si General Torre, at the minute
Yun! Yun ang gusto ko marinig sa Ronald, nagtatampo na ako.
At the minimum, senador yan, no? Yung ganun ba? May mga...
It's not enough, not enough.
Yung ating landscape, ating bansa, with its weak
fluid.
institutions, no? Minsan, unpredictable susulpot. With stronger institutions, mas predictable yung resulta. With weaker institutions, you
Bare
don't know
knuckle.
what will happen. Yung negative side niyan, you can have
Underage
Duterte.
Pacifico, underage
Yung positive
Pacifico.
side niyan, you can have a
You won't be
Pinoy.
even 40.
Diba? So, it's part dun sa pros and cons of a weak political system. No?
Right. Ito talaga, Sir Ronald. Huling na to. 5 minutes na lang matapos na. So, ito. Sir Ronald, like kahapon lang, puno na naman yung email ko. Sabi, paano napunong email ko? Sabi ko, di naman ganun kadami email. 100 gigabytes na. Pagtingin ko, yung dami natin episodes doon na napupunta sa Google Drive ko. So kagabi, it took me so long to delete all our episodes together. Tapos na-realize ko, ang dami para natin pinagsasabi sa lahat the past 2 years and all together, Sir Ronald. Honestly, like, I know regular ka rin sa mga kabilang channel and all of that, but, I don't think they're in the same ideological universe, the same way you and I are, right? I don't think, are they? Parang, I think the two of us are the closest in terms of, at least among the magulong,
Dito kasi napag-uusapan ng ideology.
we talk about Gramsci, Lenin. I don't think you talk about Lenin, Gramsci dun sa...
Ganyan, napag-uusapan ko si Lenin, o si Gramsci, or si Trotsky, or globalization. So, medyo iba yung dito.
Or neoliberal,
Pero, kasi, iniiwasan natin yan dahil baka mahirapan din unawain ng ating mga...
Baka ma-red tag tayo. But having said that, Sir Ronald...
Napag-uusapan natin ng political spectrum.
Yeah,
Napag-uusapan natin dito yung progressive movement, di ba?
But having said that, yun nga, like the appreciation that people are having, because of course, they know you on different platforms, but they said one thing that they appreciated with R&R is you make progressive concepts, frameworks, paradigms more relatable, more understandable, humorous. Kasi ang tingin nila pag progressive, ito yung activista, parating gusto away, tapos nakikita tayong dalawa, nagtatawanan lang tayo, humba-humba lang tayo. So parang, and then like, but actually may sense yung sinasabi nila minsan, di ba? So some are saying, baka maybe this is a kind of maybe this could be a template for progressives in situations like in the Philippines. Now, let's be honest, medyo mas center-right ang Philippines, to put it mildly, right? Ideologically, if I can put it that way. Like, maybe this is a template, sir? Do you see it that way? Or maybe I'm over-reading into this? Baka natatawa lang sila sa atin.
Tingin ko, it could be, no? Not necessarily nandun na tayo. Halimbawa, nakakausap natin, dito lang natin nakakausap si Walden.
Right.
No? So, dito natin na pag-uusapan yung leaders ng kaliwa. Si Dodong na pumanaw na, si Randy David, etc.
Yeah.
So, in other guesting, hindi naman natin sila na pag-uusapan. So, maganda na dagdagan pa ito going into 2028. Then, hindi naman sapat na magbuo ka lang ng broad front against the Duterte.
Yeah.
Dapat within that, merong mas malapot na mga cadres na involved para kung sakaling manalo, ay hindi naman magkaroon lamang ng liberal democratic moment. Kailangan within that moment, meron kang strong progressive pole. So, ayun. So, kasabay ng ating mga pinag-uusapan ay dapat i-strengthen pa rin yung progressive pole for all its flaws, for all its weaknesses. No? Kaya, ayun, tingin ko ay in a way, kailangan din i-scale up yun.
And are we being fair with using our I mean, I discussed it with Kapersi. People have noticed how much Justice Carpio chuckles on this show. But some people are wondering, ano ba to, Sir Ronald, yung medyo humorous personalities natin. Do you think this is really the way forward? Because I told your principal back in the day, I told him, kasi pagkalam ko, si Merkel lang medyo inaano niya. I said, we're not a Germanic Nordic society, we're a Latin society. So you need to use humor and basically, Iberian, island, Malayan humor. Ikaw, Sir, were you always funny like this? Or you realize this is what really, this is how you can couch? Diba kanina sabi mo kay BBM, hindi mo alam kung jab couch in a joke or joke couch in a jab. Is this, Sir Ronald, your ideological couch in humor, or humor ka lang, nagkataon lang naging ideological ka? Sige ba?
Ito yung sinabi ko kanina, no? Hindi naman nagbago si Harry Roque. Character na niya yan. In a way, yung ako ngayon, ito na yung character ko noon. Naalala ko nung 80s sa isang coalition meeting, sabi ko doon sa isang leader nung dominant left group noon. No? Dito lang natin pwedeng pagtawanan at lapastanganin itong grupo na ito nang hindi tayo pinapatay. So tawanan. Sabi nung tao na nirefer ko, don't be too sure.
Yeah.
Sabi niya gano'n. Ibig sabihin,
Yeah.
kahit nung panahon na yun, nung 80s, ang tawag na sa akin ni Father Adicio de la Torre, nila Boy Morales, no? Nila Joel Rocamora, ang tawag na nila sa akin, heckler. No? Heckler.
Yeah, which is...
Kung ano nga narinig yung salitang heckler.
So before
That was-
Tulfo, since we discussed Torah, we should, and Trillianus to a certain degree, the other letter T is Tul. Were you the heckler before the Tulfos?
But in a way, no? Talagang pa yun. Dahil nga, may iba't ibang political tendencies nung binuo namin yung mga coalitions. Yun yung golden age of coalition. LACC, no? Yung Freedom from Death Coalition, Congress for People's Agrarian Reform, National Movement for Civil Liberties. Ito yung first time na nagsama-sama ito. At to diffuse the tensions, to diffuse yung long-standing ideological battles itong mga grupong ito, somebody has to make some jokes. At nung panahon na yun ang naging role ko.
Yeah, I mean, if people want to realize how serious Ronald is as a historical figure, please read yung Filipino Social Democracy Origins and Characteristics written by my former colleague at Ateneo, si Dr. Benji Tolosa Jr., no? Don Sir Ronald, you're discussed as a very serious historical figure, and to be honest, hindi ko siya ma-reconcile doon sa mga kalokohan natin kay Harry. Like, the way you're talking was, di ba seryoso si Dr. Tolosa, di ba? I mean, he's a very nice guy. No? Parang, the way he talks about Ronald Liamas, one of the pillars, ganyan, like, ito pa yung kasama ko dito. Like, di ba? Like, ikaw, when you read about yourself written in a very serious sense, let's be honest.
Kind of serious ideological debates.
Yeah, I
Yun
mean,
yung panahon na pinag-uusapan ng maraming
I know.
mga ideologies na hindi na pinag-uusapan ngayon.
I know. Kaya nga, di ba, I asked Walden dun sa From Marx to Marcos, di ba? Sabi ko, what's the difference? Are we living in a post-ideological end of history? Kasi before, people really believe in a certain end of history, right? Like, towards socialism, whatever, utopia. Ngayon, wala na eh. Postmodern na tayo sa Ronald. So, like, honestly, when I was reading that, is this the same Ronald Liamas?
Yung mga debate ngayon ay 90% identity.
Yeah.
Kaya nga sabi ko kay Nathan Kimpo, Nathan, kaya mo si Nathan, di ba?
Yeah.
Nagturo sa Japan. Sabi ko, Nathan, hindi pa natin pagdedebatihan dito ang class struggle. Puro na lang ba identity issues sa pagdedebatihan natin dito?
Pati siya, no? Like, yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with fighting for minority, rights and all. Ang akin lang, let's not forget the class element, di ba? I mean, I think...
Kasi lahat yun ay nakalink sa class. No?
Yeah,
Hindi ito
absolutely.
sabihin na dominant, determinant, pero class is underlying ethos sa lahat ng mga debate na yan. Hindi ko siya titignan as standalone issues, yung identity issues. Titignan ko siya as interrelated, but that's a different topic.
That's a different topic, and just to end on this note, Sir Ronald, I mean, like, I think one reason two of us can relate with each other, even though you're from another school and background, I'm just from UP and all, is that I think both of us are like the typical middle class na nagkaroon ng, wait lang, parang may mali. Diba? Parang ganun. Magbasa nga ako dito, ano meron, di ba? Tapos meron kang shogun na bully na personality, kumbaga nag-jumble-jumble, tapos para sa tayong love na love natin, mommies natin. Di ba? Kaya nga nakaka-relate tayo kasi medyo similar. I mean, none of us come from like political dynasties. Wala tayong noble oblige, Sir Ronald. We're just noble. Noble. walang oblige. Or oblige lang, walang noble, sorry. So, I just felt class element matters eh. You coming from that kind of background. Although, I still wonder why Walden said, I remind him of his dad, sabi niya, yung flamboyant. I was not sure, is that a compliment? Sabi kong ganun. Let's be honest, Ronald, that's the only time I saw you a bit nervous. You were nervous that day. Ayan yun.
Dapat natin kausapin ulit si Walter.
Oh, speaking of that, on that note, let's send it. Yeah, definitely. I'll send this to Sir Walden. Sabi ko, Sir Walden, I think this calls for another Marks and Marcos episode 3. Tuwang-tuwa si Walden. Although medyo bully ka rin sa episode na yan, Ronald. Kaya buti nga umalis ka. Tama na. Mag-usap na kami ni Walden. That was good. Love na love ko yan. Kasi yun nga, we can agree to disagree. That's what people always forget. On that note, thank you so much, Sir Ronald. This is what I love about our conversation. We can do our... Parang safe space kasi siya eh, for us to think progressive ideological ways. In ways, unfortunately, we may not feel as confident in other platforms. So, thank you, Sir Ronald, for helping us create this kind of safe and funny zone. At sabi nga nila, Sir Ronald, may bago ka ng Sir Ronald. You're now, yung sub-request nyo, you're now a national treasure, Sir Ronald. Ronald, national So, pwede ka nang ilagay sa museum sa likod mo next time. May Ronald.
Sabi nga ng bunso ko, Eddie, wow.
Eddie, wow. Kawa tayong t-shirt, no? Eddie, wow. Eddie, wow. Sir Ronald. On that note, thank you very much. God bless and talk to you soon.
See you.
Salamat. Pahinga ka na, Sir Ronald. See you soon. Oh my God. I love this guy. Amazing. Wonderful. Amazing person. Wonderful person. No, I'm honest, guys. When I say nagkaroon kami ng konting safe zone, feeling namin, we can talk about Gramsci, we can talk about, we can talk about Althusser, yung mga ganyan, kung ano na lang, Perry Anderson, basically medyo new left review a la Filipinian. I really mean it. I mean, I'm sure you always catch Sir Ronald on different platforms and all, but, and in the same way, we have many amazing guests on this show. By the way, tomorrow we're gonna have Justice Carpio back on this show, and hopefully Justice Ascuna also soon again. Marami tayong pag-usapan, matters of law and constitution. Sorry guys, mga simpleng tao lang naman tayo, mga lang naman, mga framers lang ng constitution lang naman kausap natin. So pasensya na lang dun sa mga attorney DDS na kaibigan natin, mga iba dyan. But I sabi ko, one thing I appreciate is the way humor or shared sense of humor or whatever it is allows us to communicate this seemingly complicated and I would say even edgy, right? Medyo edgy ideological discourse dito sa mga ganitong platforms na yan. So on that nakakahumba na note, thank you so much guys. Maraming salamat. Our love and gratitude sa lahat ng mga sumuporta sa atin over the past I actually realized paras kami ni Dino de Leon, lion ang ibig sabihin ng family names namin, 'di ba? So we all have this little lion in us, kaya palaban lang tayo in spite of all of this gallery of rogues trying to charot us as if naman. So thank you so much guys. Maraming salamat, and on a serious note, actually looking forward to tasting the amazing Humba by our brothers and sisters from across the Philippines. So kanina we're talking about the Waray version, we're talking about I think Cebuana version, Davao version, etc. So looking forward, baka naman maging food vlogger din tayo in the future. On that note, thank you very much. God bless and talk to you soon.